Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. The SEC attorneys have filed a couple new documents to the judges, the case, and I have to tell you here at the outset, it is absolutely unbelievable what they are doing. If any of you out there listening have ever questioned whether or not these attorneys are asshats, let me assure you by the end of this video, you will wonder no more, okay? It could not be more clear. And in fact, part of what was written in one of these documents resulted in David Schwartz, who of course is Ripple's CTO, co-creator of XRP and the XRP ledger. He literally said, and this is a quote, "I choked on my Diet Coke as I read this." And I'll show you the part that made him choke on his Diet Coke. I've also got opinions from attorneys John Deaton, as well as attorney Jeremy Hogan. And attorney Jeremy Hogan actually says that the SEC will absolutely pull the plug on this litigation, meaning just settlement. They'll absolutely pull the plug on this litigation if a certain something happens, and I'm going to share that. That'll be towards the later part of the video. Not trying to tease, but that's the way that the video will best flow, so I am going to save that towards the end, so if you want the specifics, that will be towards the later part of the video. When it makes sense, rather than tease, I typically give the information up front, but this is a situation where I just want the video to go properly. And you'll see why as we go through. It's best just to do it sequentially here. But look, I want to be clear at the outset. I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And so here's the first document, and I'm not going to go through I'm not going to read the whole, I did read the whole thing, but I'm not going to read the whole thing on this video. It's not necessary to get the ideas across. This video would just drag out if I did that, and there's two documents. I'm just going to hit the high-level points to get all of this across to you. But here is what attorney James FILING, who is a member of the XRP community, here's what he had to say, just describing what was in this first letter. And he wrote, "Breaking, SEC files motion requesting until February 17th, 2022 to file a motion for partial reconsideration of the DPP ruling and asks to file 20-page brief and to submit more documents for in-camera review in support of motion to reconsider." And so as far as DPP, what he's referencing there, of course, there's a major ruling that came from Judge Netburn recently, where she determined that, a number of things, but part of what was determined, and this is in Ripple's favor ultimately, Ripple's going to get all sorts of documents having to do with Billy Hinman's speech, former SEC Director Bill Hinman, and it is specifically documents from presumably anyway, all sorts of SEC employees having to do with Bill Hinman's Ethereum free pass speech. And so that part's good. So the judge did find that speech was just Bill Hinman's personal opinion, and we know that's, I think we all mostly agree, it's kind of ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. Because it couldn't be more clear that the people at the highest levels of the SEC helped to form that speech, including Jay Clayton, who is the chair of the SEC, and it was presented as though it was a decree from the SEC, despite a one-liner stating, "This is just my personal opinion." Despite that, Bill Hinman, he didn't say, "I think so-and-so." Sometimes he did, but he also would at times, including on national television, say, "We think," in referencing the information of speech. Who's we? Well, we would be the SEC, right? And so it's ridiculous, but the judge did find, and it's important that you know this, that the speech was just Bill Hinman's opinion, and since it's just his opinion, the SEC, the important part is that the SEC can't claim privilege. That's what DPP is, deliberative process privilege. That's what it stands for. If it were not just Bill Hinman's opinion, if it were official decree from the SEC, then the judge, in all likelihood, it's a virtual certainty, in fact, would have found that the SEC's privilege claims stand, and then all of these documents, Ripple would never end up with it. So in that sense, it's kind of a blessing, even though we think it's ridiculous, and for understandably good reasons, that this is his personal opinion, right? And then James FILING also wrote, "The SEC seeks partial reconsideration of only a single aspect of the order relating to drafts and emails in connection with a June 14th, 2018 speech by Director Bill Hinman, known as the speech within the document, Ripple has objected to the SEC's request. So what's this partial reconsideration that they're asking for? Well, that takes us to the core of this matter right here. Here's the tweet in question, the comment in question from Ripple CTO David Schwartz, where he wrote, and it's on your screen right now, "I choked on my Diet Coke as I read this." So I will read this snippet. This is the part that he shared. And this is freaking mind-blowing what the SEC is doing here. It's completely absurd. It reads as follows. "The SEC respectfully submits that these additional documents clarify the truly deliberative nature of the discussions surrounding the speech across the SEC," and that's the Ethereum Free Pass speech, "and show that the speech was not merely peripheral to actual policy formulation, but was in fact an essential link in the SEC's deliberative process with respect to Ether and other digital assets." Folks, that is mind-blowing. Do you see what they're saying there? Because again, as I just covered, the SEC, the judge has found that the Bill Hinman speech, it really indeed, as far as the judge is concerned, the case is closed on that portion. That's just Bill Hinman's speech, just his opinion rather. And here you have the SEC now arguing, it's on your freaking screen, that the speech was a factor in policy formulation. Folks, let me ask you, how in the ever-loving freaking hell can it be the case that this speech, Bill Hinman's speech, had anything to do with an official position from the SEC when they've already argued that it's just Bill Hinman's personal opinion? Because the SEC has argued that too. The SEC argued it's just Bill Hinman's personal opinion, and the judge already agreed, yes, it's just Bill Hinman's personal opinion. Now they have the audacity to come out here and say, yes, it's just his personal opinion, but it was also used to help formulate official SEC policy, whatever, because the deliberation behind the scene that would lead to policy. How the hell is that possible if it's just his freaking personal opinion? That's completely absurd and over the top. They're arguing out of both sides of their mouth. I don't see how the judge is going to analyze this and think, wow, these are intellectually honest people. I don't know that she's going to, you know what the judge is going to say? She's going to say, wow, these are a bunch of asshat pricks. That's what the judge is going to say. This ain't going to fly, friends. This ain't going to fly. And here's a tweet from Stuart Alderati, who is Ripple's general counsel. So he's basically their top legal guy in-house. And so Stuart Alderati shared that information that from James K. Filing wrote, "We've reached the do as I say, not as I do stage of this lawsuit with this latest from the SEC. Here's what Attorney John Deaton had to say about this. I really hope Judge Netburn denies this motion. She stated it was settled that Hinman's speech was his personal opinion and not an SEC pre-decisional deliberation, and therefore not covered by the DPP. That's the privilege, the DPP. Allowing this would reward the SEC to talk out both sides of its mouth." Bravo, John Deaton, absolutely. It's an incredibly solid point. If the judge actually reverses this decision, like, that would be absurd. I don't think it's likely. Neither do the attorneys, but it's possible, technically. And then John also wrote this: "I will never attempt to speak for the judges. I can only offer what I believe or hope. Judge Netburn's ruling is clear. She wrote the issue is settled. The speech was his personal opinion. The SEC can't have it both ways. If it's his personal opinion, then DPP shouldn't apply." So what the hell is in these documents that the SEC is going to great lengths, extreme lengths, I would argue, to have hidden? What is in there that they're trying to hide? And mind you, the judge already saw whatever is in there. She did an in-camera review, which just means it just means in-person review. She already saw all of this. She knows whatever's in there, whether it's damning or not damning. She knows. What is the SEC trying to hide? There's something in there that's going to be a blow to them, I would suspect, if they're going to these outrageous lengths to hide this. Potentially case ending, because otherwise, why would you do this? Because you know the optics on the surface. With us not knowing the specifics of what's in there, why would you behave like this? Because you're arguing with yourself at this point if you're the SEC. It's completely absurd. Oh, man. And then John Deaton also wrote this: "The SEC filed a motion for reconsideration of the ruling we discussed yesterday on Twitter Live. The SEC literally wants to have its cake and eat it too. In short, they claim the speech was deliberated by the SEC, but was Hinman's personal opinion." And then there was also this. This is from James K. Filing. Here's the other document that was filed. And here's what James K. Filing wrote, Attorney Filing. The SEC has also requested an extension of time from Judge Torres to file objections to Judge Netburn's DPP ruling. The SEC had two different routes to take in response to Judge Netburn's DPP ruling. First, it could request that Judge Netburn reconsider her ruling, or second, it could have filed objections to Judge Netburn's ruling directly with Judge Torres, which is basically an appeal. But both the motion for reconsideration and the objections have to be filed within 14 days of Judge Netburn's original ruling. So what the SEC is doing is asking Judge Torres to wait until 21 days after Judge Netburn rules on the motion for reconsideration before the SEC must file its objections directly with Judge Torres. And then to wrap that up, he stated the following. This is again from Attorney Filing. He said the following. The SEC is desperately trying not to have to turn over the documents to Ripple. So again, folks, you gotta ask, why would they do this? They know the optics are bad. They know the judge has to be looking at him like, are you freaking cray? Because you're arguing both sides. How are you simultaneously arguing both sides? It doesn't make sense. It just does not make no darn sense. Upend his badge. And then there was this from Attorney Jeremy Hogan on that exact point. He wrote the following. Check this out. The SEC won't win this motion mainly because the evidence it wants to submit is not new. And in my opinion, the purpose is not to hide the emails from the judge, because that cat is out of the bag. And the reason he wrote that again is because the judge did an in-camera review. This is not to hide it from the judge. The judge already saw this and read everything. So, Jeremy Hogan writes, that leaves three possibilities. This is funny. Number one, delay. Number two, make a record for appeal. Or number three, delay. So it's looking like he's thinking delay, maybe delay, right? And then he continues, the delay is obvious. This is no less than the fourth request by the SEC for an extension of time in this case. As we discussed before, time is on the SEC side and litigation is war. You, the retail holder, are just civilian casualties. And check this out. And so this is the part that I was covering in the intro of the video here. Check this out. Jeremy Hogan then wrote, more interesting is the length the SEC is going here to avoid this precedent that its internal documents are discoverable, e.g. making self-contradictory argument. I've seen this sort of long-thinking litigation strategy before, and this SEC fear is the ace up Ripple's sleeve. These motions solidify that the SEC will absolutely pull the plug on this litigation if it believes it might lose a major issue and create case precedent that inhibits its ability to expand its control. And then you wrote, P.S. My crypto portfolio was just decimated. Please excuse me while I go cry. Which is unrelated, but he has a funny way. I like that. It's true. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't emotionally impact me, but yes, it's true. It's been a sea of red today, let's say. And then there was also this. Somebody named Relly Rich wrote to Jeremy Hogan, what are the chances Judge Torres denies the appeal in your opinion? And Jeremy Hogan says, I'd say 80 to 90%. These motions are very difficult to win in the best cases. And then there was this. Somebody wrote, couldn't an in-camera review of the additional emails change her mind on this? And again, so don't forget, the SEC said they're going to submit additional information. Couldn't that additional information change the judge's mind? And Jeremy Hogan wrote, the SEC's problem is that the emails were available to them back before the judge's ruling. They should have been submitted then. Reconsideration is not meant to be a do-over. And then somebody also wrote, hi, Jeremy, when can we expect a reaction from the judge? And Jeremy wrote, Ripple will reply strongly, I believe, and then the judge needs to respond before January 27th. So look, we're probably going to get a very strongly worded letter of response, which I can't wait to cover on the Moon Lambo channel. And I'm sure they're going to rip everything to shreds. I'm really looking forward to that one. And we're going to get an answer sooner than later. But can you believe this? Like, I was not kidding. I wasn't saying it for the sake of it. It's just unbelievable what these asshat pricks are doing. Oh my God, they can't be trusted. These are not good people. Good people don't act like this, guys. Good people don't act like this. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write, and that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Lambo.